The views, information, and opinions expressed during the following program are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent the views of Access Communications, its representatives, or its employees.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular meeting of the Weyburn City Council held in the Council Chambers at 6 p.m. Monday, November 27th, 2023. The first thing on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the regular meeting and strategic planning and priorities meeting held November 13th, 2023. Do we have a motion, please?
Hey, Your Worship, I'll make that motion.
Second.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
All in favor? Carried unanimously. Additions to agenda, anything?
Your Worship, none from administration tonight.
And from administration here? Council? Nothing. There's no public hearings notices, no delegations, proclamations, or petitions, no reports of standing committees, the consent agenda, nothing there. Motions. The first thing that we have for motions is the appointment of the youth councilors, and we have our youth council here today. So if you would be so kind, well, just first off, let's start a motion there, Mr. Richards, and then we'll have everyone be introduced.
Thanks, Your Worship. Proud to make a motion that members Nicola Erasmus, Mason Sidlowski, Jackson Stadnick, Juan Presto, and Harper Williams be appointed the 2024-25 Weyburn Youth Council.
So if you would please,
I'll second that, Your Worship.
If you would please, while we have a discussion, the youth mayor, Nicola, if you would wish to go up to the podium there and bring your council up with you. If the rest of the council come stand behind her, if you would please, and then you can make a statement. And she can go ahead and say something. And I guess just before you statement there, I guess I'm going kind of out of turn here. I call all in favor. Carried unanimously. Mayor, go ahead, make your statement.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nicola Erasmus. This is Jackson Stadnick, Mason Sidlowski. I'm sorry, to say your last name. Juan Presto and Harper Williams. Okay, I'm sorry. My name is Nicola Erasmus, and over the past few years, I've had an interest in our city's economic development. I'm currently on the board of directors of our new theater, and I'm a director on the Weyburn Agricultural Society. I've been a member of the Weyburn Youth Council for 2 years, and now, on my third, I am pleased to say that it is my honor to serve as Weyburn's youth mayor. This year, our youth council seems to be one of the most diverse yet. In the past, Youth Council has had focus on community inclusion. This year, we are defining our purpose further. We want to advocate for the youth in Weyburn, collaborate with our community, and be a voice of leadership for our peers. We hope to have more of our youth counselors engage with local organizations and sit on board tables to be valuable representatives. We want to be advocates for greater support for the less fortunate of our community and see our city grow. If you are interested in connecting with us, please reach out. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. And then and I'll say it to the rest of the youth council too, as youth mayor, as you sit there, although you have no vote in any of the council resolutions, when we do ask discussion after a motion's been made, and before we vote on it, we'll say, is there any discussion? At that point in time, you can put up your hand. You can add into this discussion on what you may feel about the idea, but you have no vote on what it is though afterwards. Okay, so it'd be interesting to see on certain items the youth's perspective of different things. So don't always sit quietly within the council chambers here. Next one, the chemical supply tender. Go ahead, Jen.
Thank you. So this is for the 2024 water treatment chemical supply tender. The City of Weyburn is committed to providing a safe and sufficient supply of drinking water to the residents. Weyburn's water comes from Nickel Lake to the water treatment plant, where it goes through a series of treatments, filtration system, and disinfection process before being sent to the distribution system. The chemicals required for the treatment and disinfection processes used by the Weyburn water treatment plant are supplied and delivered by various licensed chemical suppliers. On October 23rd, 2023, the City of Weyburn 2024 water treatment chemical supply tender was posted on the city's online bidding portal, Bids and Tenders, and SAS Tenders. Chemicals obtained through the competitive bid process will be utilized in water treatment processes in 2024 under annual contracts. Quotations were to be received by the City of Weyburn by November 15th at 2 p.m., and a total of 8 tenders were received. The results of the qualifying tenders are as follows. So you can see the companies and the different chemicals we were required, and then also we have highlighted in bold the ones that are recommended by the engineering department. So it is recommended that the following 2024 chemical supply be awarded as follows. Brentan Canada be awarded the supplies of potassium permanganate and sodium hypochlorite. Clearwater Equipment and Technologies will be awarded the supplies of ammonium sulfate and hydrofluoric acid. Northland Chemical Corp will be awarded the supply of Norflock 122. ClearTech Industries be awarded the supplies of chlorine gas and sodium hydroxide, caustic acid. And Border Chemical Company Limited be awarded the supply of liquid aluminum sulfate.
You have a motion, please.
Your Worship, I'd like to make a motion that should have been passed on to our newest councillor, but somehow it got printed on my paper.
You can just say, as she read.
Yeah.
You can just say that too, as she read.
Well, I would like to make a motion, Your Worship, that the 2024 chemical supply contracts be awarded as presented.
Second.
I will second that motion, Your Worship.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried now. And again, those are some very good chemical names. I have a mastery of a lot of reading, but I do with some of those chemical names, so it's just beyond me. And some of the disease names is beyond me too. I guess I have to get back to Latin studies or something like that. Introduction of bylaws. The bylaw 2023-3469 refuge bylaw. We read that once, and so this is goes for the second time.
Yeah.
The second and third read.
Yeah. So this is for the refuse bylaw. So the refuse bylaw 2018-3391 is set to have a review of rates for 2024. During the rate assessment, engineering reviewed the bylaw as a whole. Engineering has updated the bylaw to have appropriate language, clear and concise definitions, clarification regarding service, and continuity with the permit to operate at the landfill. Council did the first reading of the bylaw 2023-3469 on Monday, November 13th, 2024. Since then, we have 2 additional changes that are being recommended. Further clarification points regarding an additional refuse or recycle bin. So we have stated that the occupant will only be allowed 1 additional refuse bin and 1 additional recycle bin. So that's just to cap it to ensure that there's not a massive influx on single property. And then the occupant will be required to have the additional bin for a minimum of 1 year. So this will just make sure that we're using resources properly and not dropping a new bin off 1 month and then having to pick it up the next month to drop it off in a couple of months. That you will be committed for a year if you do request an additional bin. So it is recommended the council include these recommended changes and complete the second and third readings of the refuse bylaw 2023-3469.
And point of clarification, that additional bin, if there's an additional cost per month, right? Correct.
Yeah, and the fees were introduced in the first reading. This is just further clarification on the actual.
But there is a fee.
There is a fee, yep. And if this bylaw passes, this will not take effect till January 1st of 2024.
Yeah.
So.
Your Worship, I'd like to make a motion that the included recommended changes be added to the second and third readings of the refuge bylaw 2023-3469.
Your Worship, I will second that motion.
Discussion? Seeing none. Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Those additions are made. Proceed with the second reading?
Sure, Your Worship. I will make the motion that bylaw 2023-3469 to amend bylaw 2018-3391, the City of Weyburn refuse bylaw, be read a second time.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Discussion? Seeing none, call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously.
Your Worship, I'd like to make the motion that bylaw 2023-3469 to amend bylaw 2018-3391, the City of Weyburn refuse bylaw, be read a third time and passed.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Discussion? Seeing none, call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Bylaw is passed with it going into effect January 1st, 2024. So that is, at that point, is if you wish to have a garbage can, an additional one, that is when you start calling there, not until then. Okay. New business. I know there's no unfinished business. New business, there's a municipal revenue sharing. Mr. Warren.
Yeah, thanks, Your Worship. The government of Saskatchewan provides funding to each local municipality to support delivery of community services through the municipal revenue sharing program. The annual program gives municipalities an amount based on 3/4 of a point of the provincial sales tax revenue collected from 2 years earlier. So last year, this year, the City of Weyburn received just over $2.2 million through that program. All Saskatchewan municipalities are eligible for municipal revenue sharing program. To receive the grant, municipalities are required to submit the following. So submission of the audited annual financial statement to the ministry, submission of the public reporting on municipal waterworks to the municipality or to the ministry, which is applicable for us. Ensure that the education and property taxes are in good standing with respect to the EPT reporting and remittance. Adoption of a council procedures bylaw, adoption of an employee code of conduct, and finally, and annually updating public disclosure statements for all members of council. All municipalities are required to complete a declaration of eligibility and have it submitted to the Ministry of Government Relations by January 31st. Complete declaration requires a resolution of council confirming that the municipality meets all the eligibility requirements. So as the city does meet all the requirements as listed above, I am recommending that City Council provide the province with a required resolution confirming that City of Weyburn meets all eligibility requirements for the municipal revenue sharing program.
Do I have a motion, please?
Your Worship, I'd move that the City of Weyburn meets all eligibility requirements for the municipal revenue sharing program.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Discussion? Seeing none, call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. A report from our 2024 preliminary budget open house. Would please? Paige.
Thank you, Your Worship. On October 23rd, the preliminary municipal budget was presented to Weyburn City Council at its regularly scheduled meeting. As a proactive approach to public participation, the City of Weyburn hosted an open house in November on the preliminary budget to engage the community and promote transparency in its financial processes. 2 sessions were held at the Credit Union Spark Center on November 7th from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. and 5 to 7 p.m. Council and city staff were available at both sessions to respond to public inquiries and engage in discussion with budget priorities. The event saw participation from 5 councillors and 8 senior staff members. In total, 15 members of the public attended over the 2 sessions. So overall event evaluation was positive feedback of the open house format, and there's optimism for future growth of our community. Staff and councillors at the session were also asked to identify key themes from their engagement with attendees at the open house. And we categorize those into these kind of 6 broader themes, one being budget, and you'll see there taxation, budget management, and appreciation for transparency. Number 2, infrastructure, which includes projects, public impact, positive feedback, infrastructure revitalization programs, specific inquiries, Number 3, we heard a lot about operations, mainly focused on snow removal and public works equipment. Number 4, facilities, which included a lot of discussion over user fees, new leisure facilities, and our urban forestry program. Number 5, diverse interactions. So we heard a lot of feedback on supportive community members at the open house, as well as a number of employee inquiries, which are detailed there. And number 6, just overall feedback of the open house, which relative support for that, including transparency, and internally we had a lot of good feedback on the team building. So although there's no formal recommendation, the city and council will continue to enhance our public participation opportunities to ensure broader community engagement and awareness of municipal processes. And I may hand this over to City Manager Warren to discuss further.
Thanks for the presentation. Thanks, Paige, for going through all the work. So we're very thankful to have the community out for the open house. We're also thankful for the community members who are reaching out to our council members, off to our admin staff, and off to any city employees providing some feedback towards budget. So right now we are reaching that final stage of our budget process for 2024. So right now we're working towards December 11th as a final budget presentation. As indicated, we're at a 6.47 budget, but right now we're continuing to look at ways to reduce that budget further. So we're always looking for different ways to look at efficiencies and more operational and focused. The open house was a great opportunity for us to receive that feedback, great opportunity for our council and our admin staff to have those conversations. And I do think the people who did attend, and this is something that we'll be looking to do more in the future moving forward, because it's a great way to reach out to people and provide people the voices they need to provide us information to help us to move the community forward. Any questions from council? Council?
Yeah. Thanks, Your Worship. I don't know that I have a question as much as an observation. And I would say it like this. I found that in the days, week or two, maybe even leading up to those events and the week after, I had a lot of members of the community talk to me who said, you know what, I'm not coming to that thing, but I think this. So I think that just facilitating this event, this discussion, opened the door for a lot of folks to maybe just have, I don't know, an opportunity to think about it more and talk about it more. So I do appreciate administration's work on it.
Mr. Janke?
I agree completely with Councillor Richards, but I would like to encourage as many people as possible to come out to these events when we have them in the future, because I find that the conversations we had in that room with not just with ourselves and with administration, but with other members of the community talking to each other were extremely valuable. So I would really like to see us continue doing this going forward.
Yeah, I concur with what the other two councillors have said, and I would also encourage citizens to come out. It gives you a great opportunity to meet the staff of the city. It gives you a chance to meet with the councillors, and please don't feel that your opinion is not warranted, but I think we'd love to hear from everybody as much as possible, and don't think that everything is already set in stone the night that, so there's no sense coming up. But I think there's always opportunity to come and ask questions and give your viewpoints. And as I say, meet the staff and the people that make up your budget and run your city. That's a great opportunity also. And it's a very great forum to do that in. So next year, please keep that in mind. And hopefully, like say, we triple what we had out this year for the number of participants.
All comments? I guess just in closing that as you said, that those that are out and saw, it's a good forum, as these councillors said, about getting out and participating with your city. And just remember that too, as elections are going to be coming in 2024, November, always seeking good new candidates, always seeking good candidates for council. And this is a time to really get out there and start being a part of this city and understanding what you want to do for the city that you live in. That being said, there's inquiries and announcements. Anything, Mr. Warren?
Yeah, thanks, Your Worship. So talking about open houses, we do have an open house coming up here tomorrow night at the Credit Union Spark Center from 5 till 7 p.m. So that's on November 28th. So we are talking about the heliport that is planned for the new Weyburn General Hospital. So this is an opportunity for the public to come out and ask questions. There'll be members from STARS There'll be members from SAS Builds, the Ministry of Health, Right Construction. And the biggest focus is for us to provide information to the public for something that we haven't had in this community, because currently our heliport is at our Weyburn Airport. So there's a requirement through Transport Canada to provide a letter of non-opposition. So as a municipal entity, that's our job to do that. But we want to hear from the community and have them learn more about the heliport and actually have the experts there. So again, that's from 5 till 7 o'clock tomorrow night at the Credit Union Sparks Center.
And Youth Mayor, you're welcome to attend that event. You're welcome to attend that event at that time and come out even for half hour or whatever, just to meet and greet the other people that are there about the community. Laura, anything from the library?
Actually, I have two things, Your Worship. Just as we moved into December, into the holiday season, the Chamber of Commerce Parade is Thursday, December the 7th at 7 o'clock. So put on your woolies. Hopefully it's not as cold as it has been in the past. And then after you watch that, Jingle and Mingle is going to be going on at the library. So I encourage everybody to head on over there and celebrate with the library staff.
And that's on the same night?
Same night, yeah.
Anybody else with what are, go ahead.
I just have one last one, just a reminder to the public that our last meeting for 2023 will be on December 11th. We don't do two council meetings. We only do the one council meeting. So just a reminder to the public that we only have the one council meeting in December, which is December the 11th.
If there's nothing else, there's no notice of motions. And with that, we call the meeting adjourned. Thank you.
If you'd like to share your feedback on the program you just watched, contact us today